Hey everybody, welcome to a new edition of Humor Mill TV. I'm your host, Frank Holder, and you know what I normally do. I always get you the best in comedy. I also give you some one-on-one interviews and do what we do best. And what we do best is we give you the inside on what's coming up. So right now, we got a comedian out of the Houston area. Right now, you can see the light in the background. He's on the West Coast, but he's still down home and from Houston, comedian Eddie B. Eddie, how you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on here, man.
No problem, no problem. Now, Eddie, I got to ask you a couple of questions because when I saw some information, I was digging up some info about you. I found that the vast majority of your audience is not the people that you would expect to be. Now, with that being said, please tell everybody that you're from Houston and how you landed in comedy and what happened. I got to hear this story. Got to hear
I'm from Houston. Hey, I mean, you know how some people, I was born to do this.
Right.
I wouldn't say I was born to do this. I used to get in trouble for this, man. I was just a class clown, man. So I was always that, the life of the party, the stuff that I used to get whooping. I'm an 80s baby. Whoopings were popular. Okay.
Oh, I know.
I was part of that last phase of corporal punishment. I was a part of that. So I used to always get in trouble for acting up in school. And, I just couldn't control it. True story. One time in high school, I used to act so crazy. I couldn't help it. And the finest girl in school, her name was Kathy Bessies, right? Kathy Bessies said, "Oh my God, you are so much immature. You need to grow up." And I didn't know what that meant. And so I'm like, dang, the finest girl just told me this in front of everybody in the cafeteria. Wow. And so the only thing I knew to do different from what I was doing is just to be quiet. So I came to school the next day and I tried this new thing, tried to be quiet. Man, everybody asked me if somebody died, what's wrong with me, am I sick? You know what I'm saying? But I just didn't know that was just a part of me. That thing, that lasted all, of one period in high school. I was back to old me. And that let me know right then, I can't control this. It's just me. Right. I didn't try to hone it a little bit till I got to college.
Right. I
understand. University Kingsville, man. I was a clown. I played ball, but I was the clown on the team. I mean, that was just, I couldn't help it. So, one day I decided to say, hey, let me have a comedy show here my senior year. And I charged everybody $3 to get in, man. And it was on a basketball game night. Put it like this here. I made like $700 something that night.
Wow.
Renting out the student center or whatever. And that's how it all started. I wouldn't say the rest is history. I was just trying to get my feet wet. Right. I performed for like 2 hours. Maybe 30 minutes of it was probably funny. I was just trying, but people were there to support me. So after I graduated, went back home to Houston, and I started going, open mics, comedy clubs, and the grind started then, man. And any comedian know, man, whew, that open mic life is rough,
Right.
Somebody laugh with new jokes, and it's an audience full of comedians, or people who came to see the people who they came to see. So it was pretty rough, but you get tried through the fire, and that's what happened. As far as the comedy, really getting started, after I came in, I was doing it for a little while. People saw I was different, physical style I create on stage. I started to pay attention to the process, and, I try to really, respect the craft a little bit, so to speak. So I got a few comedy books about the comedy Bible. I never read it. But one book I did stick with was A Comics Insights by Frank Jai. And what he did was he just interviewed different comedians and, people in movies and, producers and network execs. And he asked them all the same question: where does your comedy come from? And I never forget, what changed me is I read that Sinbad said that he doesn't write jokes down, he creates on stage. And I'm like, damn it, that's me. All this time people try to tell me, man, you gotta write something, baby. You got to write. You got to be on your right game. That wasn't me. I create on stage. So that was a pivotal point in my comedy career, to where I can really say that when I found out that a successful comedian did that, okay, that's my style right there. Because I hadn't, I hadn't heard that from anybody before. I thought it was, punchline, setup, all that,
Well, it really is. So you're trying to tell me that I can see you 3 times and see 3 different shows?
More than likely, put it like this: if I can have something written down, like if I have my set, I will have a base. I will have a premise. I have so I want to talk about, my son, in the course of 3 shows, I might say the same premise, but something else will come out. You know what I'm saying? As far as comedy, sometimes you vibe off the crowd. Sometimes you just come out lit. Sometimes you just need to just, comedian. It's just your outlet getting on that stage, man. Especially I love blackouts. I love a spotlight blackout. It's like you speaking into a big black hole and laughter coming back. Is no better rush than that.
Right.
Yeah, no better rush than that, man.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, man. Being that you've been doing comedy since you were in probably grammar school, you ended up becoming a teacher. So how did the path of you go from comedy? I'm sure you're trying to get a job and doing the normal things that you had to do. Yeah, I understand that. And then you end up becoming a teacher. Can you tell everybody out there how the teacher and comedy intersected?
Well, comedy was my hustle. I mean, comedy was my passion. I needed a hustle. Something to fund my passion, because the comedy money wasn't coming in like that. Doing a lot of free stuff. Just to pretty much practice and little bitty stuff people give you here and there. That's not a lot of money. My name ain't out there yet. So yeah, I was doing comedy, open mics. I have a little bitty shows. People knew about me. Man, I started working at a car wash, bro. Real talk, working at a car wash. I never forget. It was called Bubbles. I did outside sales, right? I made a lot of money because it was in a rich neighborhood. It was in, I don't know if you're familiar with Houston, but it was in the, what area? Derry Ashford. It was in the Derry Ashford area. It was the rich part. But yeah, I used to hustle, man. I used to catch the bus, 3 buses to get to work, because I stayed in South Park. 3 buses to get to work, 3 buses to get home. I would only have enough time to go to sleep, wake up, eat, go to sleep, take a bath, go to sleep, and get up to do the same thing. I didn't have no days off. It was crazy, except for my days off. And I was doing that for a long time. And then, I graduated with a degree in kinesiology, health and kinesiology. You can either take that into the medical field, you can take that into, sports medicine, or, physical therapy, something like that, or teach and coach. That's the main one. But I didn't want to teach and coach, man. I was playing ball. Either I was going to the NFL or I was going to do physical therapy. And then I was like, okay, boom, I'm doing comedy. I'm a comedian. I was going to be that funny physical therapist or that funny NFL player. But it was a hustle. And I'm like, man, it was outside sales. So the money was up and down. I said, something got to be better than this. So the teaching thing came about. I said, hey, I got a degree in this. So I used the money that I made from the car wash to fund to fund me going to the certification program to teach. Because I'm like, man, at least this is a career,
Right.
I don't know about teaching yet. I'm like, man, this is a career right here. I can, because I was gonna go in and coach. That was my thing. I was gonna teach PE and coach. How hard could it be?
Right.
But didn't nobody tell me that coaches don't quit their job. PE teachers don't quit their jobs. Right. They be there forever. So I got stuck.
I understand that.
Teaching science. They put me in science because it's a critical shortage subject. I ain't know nothing about science, but hell, they didn't know that. I didn't. And so I got straight off into it, and boom. Once you get into teaching, and especially if they put you in a critical shortage subject, you're going to stay there. And I'm a male. Oh, man. So boom, boom, boom. 1 year led to next year, and then I got stuck. So I tried to suppress my comedy and, focus on teaching. Because it was stressful. It was a stressful job. And I do comedy when I can, especially around them kids, man. I didn't want them to know that I'm a comedian. I'm already trying to be this symbol of discipline in my classroom.
Right.
And, I had to, but, you got the internet, though. So eventually they found out. But I kept it under wraps for a long time. So that's how I started out. I started doing comedy already. And then teaching was just a better job than working at the damn car wash, man, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I just got stuck there. At least I wasn't outside no more. I was in the 80s.
I get it. So tell everybody out there how you were able to now get your teachers to be the audience to be able to see you do stand-up. I know there's a story behind, because normally, let's be honest, a black male comedian, he's up in the game, he's hitting the comedy clubs and everything else. The majority of his audience are probably black women who are all from all walks of life and everything else. Your audience is all white women, not that I care about either color, but your audience is all white women who basically seems like to be the majority are teachers. So can you tell everybody out there how that came about?
If I knew I would tell you.
Really?
I know for a fact, God just blew on it, man. You know what? True story. And I was on the phone with a guy last night, a real great guy I just met out here in California, man. Real great guy. And I told him for the first time that one time I performed for Aflac. Aflac had a little thing they was doing for their workers. Mm-hmm. And it was at the Improv. All white people, all Caucasian, right? And I'm from the neighborhood. I'm from the hood. I don't know how to. I tell life comedy, and my life comedy is different from your life, you know?
Right.
And so I'm saying all this crazy stuff on stage. I got the few claps and, you know, and, but, a lot of them was, I don't get you, It's not because I wasn't funny. It's just because they couldn't relate.
Right.
And I never forget, man, afterwards, when you going through stuff, you ask God the craziest stuff sometimes. This is what I ask God. I say, hey, help me be able to appeal to white people on stage. Help me to be able to make white people laugh. I said that just in the quietness of just me and God, period. Mm-hmm. That was a while ago, though. This was way before, this stuff popped with teaching. Mm-hmm. God will make you remember stuff after he put you in it that you asked for a long time ago.
Very true.
We just setting it up, and I asked, because I was sincere about it. I want to make everybody laugh. So what happened was with the teaching thing, the comedy came about. I used to always shoot videos. Here we go. And so, hey, Instagram popped up, here come YouTube, Facebook. Let me start making videos. So I'm making spoofs. I'm making skits. I'm jumping characters, putting wigs on. I'm a preacher. I'm an old lady. Mm-hmm. I'm a thought. I'm just trying, struggling comedian. Anything, if anything, right. Help me, Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I'm doing all this, man. And one day I asked God, here I go again. It's funny how I ask God for stuff till something just be bad. Yeah. Stuff was just going bad. I was like, look, I had retired from teaching by this time. I had retired. I worked like 10, 11 years and the money got low and I had to go back to teaching. Something I said I never do. And I tell people all the time, never say what you're never going to do. Right. I'm sure I told God, I say, look, baby, I'm never teaching again. You heard me? I'm never teaching again. Right back in it. And so I retired, came back to teaching and I got retired. I got tired of teaching again. And I never forget, man, I walked in the classroom one day and I asked God, I say, look, man, bless me with some ideas. Dude, I've never asked God that. I don't even know what that means. Ideas don't make no money. Do it? No, it don't. Not to me. Mm-hmm. All I know is I meant it. A day later, I walked in the classroom again and just my inner voice, something just said clear, like there's a dude just talking to me regular. You making all these videos. Why don't you make a video about this? You've been tired of this. And I'm like, I have been tired of this. You talking about teaching, right? And so, boom, I did the video. I shot the video right in front of like my desk before my kids got in my classroom. I gave them some busy work when they got in, so they'll just shut up and leave me alone. That's a no-no amongst teaching. So I lock my door so wouldn't nobody come in and observe me. Like if people come in, if they come observe me, I can hurry up and get something together. But boom, put it out, lunchtime, boom, boom, came back. I got my same 5,000, 6,000 views I get. Woke up the next morning, it was like at 100-something thousand. Wow. I think that, maybe a celebrity grabbed my video and shared it. And so, week later, it hit an M. Mm-hmm. What the M meant, I'm like, what happened? Like it was a glitch. No. So it really popped off. And then what they didn't know, remember I was telling you, I always suppressed my comedy. Right. I didn't let them know what I did. Now, it come to find out that every teacher that was loving the videos, they felt the same way I did. They was mad at the job. They was stressed out, right? And so here we go. They don't know I'm a real comedian, though. They think I'm just a teacher putting out videos and I just hit on something. Right. What they don't know is I've been doing comedy since 2014. Mm-hmm. I mean, what? I'm lying. No, it's not 2004. I'm sorry. He said, that was the other day, dude. I thought you said, yeah, 2004. And one day I just said, hey, let's have a tour. Just when Steve was gonna come. It was I think it was a spring break or a break. Went to a little comedy club. They had 200 seats, 250 seats. Put it out just on Facebook. Sold out in 10 minutes. I had to drive back to the comedy club. We added another show. We was going backwards. That show was at 9 on a Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Slot for 7. Boom. That sold out in 15 minutes. I went back. Same thing happened. So we went from Wednesday 9-7 to Tuesday 9-7 and Monday 9-7. And the only reason why we couldn't do it again because we ran out of days. People still couldn't get in, right? And so yeah, and that's how it all started, man. And then I noticed them faces that were in the stands.
Yeah.
Caucasian, all different. I mean, but it's not just a certain age. You talking about from 20s on up to 60, 75.
Right.
You talking about different generations of teachers. You know, it'd be 3 of them. One first year, it's the mom, she just retired, and the grandmother, she been retired. And they all can laugh together about, you know, what God blessed me to be able to share. And it came from my pain.
Right.
I didn't do that. And I didn't think nobody wanted to hear it.
Right.
You come to find out that all these teachers feel the same way. It's the most stressful job in the world, man. Like it's a contact sport.
I completely
feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that. I understand.
Yeah, it can drop you.
It sounds like you hit a lick in a lightning bottle, right? You sound like
look at God. And one woman told me, I worked with her. It was cool, man. One girl said, she said, "Oh my God, you're so brilliant. You merged your passion with your job and you just took off." I'm like, baby girl, as much as I want to take credit for that, I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
I've been tired of teaching. I've been doing comedy. How come I ain't never came up with this idea before? You know, it wasn't until.
Right. All right.
Okay.
So let's fast forward. Now you're sitting in LA. You know what I mean?
This is real.
Not a lot of comics, man, are sitting there who merge two things. Are sitting in LA with a TV show
without a roommate.
Yeah, that's
they had me thinking that you come to LA, it's not uncommon to have a roommate, and I had a big old plan to struggle out here when I was gonna come before this, and I had when I told you I retired to come to LA.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing that could have stopped me from coming stopped me, and that was that I couldn't legally take my son. My son, it was like, you know, you start learning court words when you start having to go to court.
Yeah.
Hey, there were geographical restraints in the court order. Meaning I couldn't take him nowhere without getting
no charges filed against you. Come from
Jesus is real. And that's what that was. And like I felt so disappointed. I'm a guy. We don't plan stuff out. Women do that. You know, women are calculated. I don't know too many guys who are, and if they are, they probably successful as hell. You know, by nature, we really don't do that. And so I'm thinking the first time I had something planned out and you snatch me back, all this stuff I'm hearing, Steve Harvey talking about, oh, you got to jump. Well, damn, I tried to. What do you do when you jump and you get pulled back midair?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you got something to talk to them about? Because that's what happened to me. And dude, tears, pain, all to myself. Had nobody to talk to but God. I didn't understand it, but he had a plan the whole time. It wasn't time for you to go. Now, watch this here. I'm set up and I'm straight. Like God done blessed me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Now, I could give a damn about LA. Now, you know what? The moment I didn't care about it no more, that's when it was time for me to come out here. Maybe I made LA this big God or something, you know, but now, I'm like, God, why am I here? You know, sometimes, you know, and it's easy, it's smooth. Roommate, I don't have no roommate. I'm raising my son. He's in a good school. You know what I'm saying? My little girl is back in Houston. She's doing well. The household's doing well. And you would never know what I have. I don't care about that. I really care about what happens to teachers. Like, I'm passionate about it for real. There's so many teachers trying to hop on the video thing and, oh, I could have did that. You could have. But you did. What would you have done with the blessing, though? Would you have given back? Right. I didn't clear registers. I mean, God didn't bless me to be able to clear registers out just so teachers can stand in line and get school supplies, you know, for their classroom. The same stuff that the district promised to give us, we got to come out of our pocket for. I'm sure you hear about that all the time. Oh, it's real. It's real. And although it was beautiful to see all them teachers, it was sad as hell at the same time. Because why they stand in line to get something that the districts should be providing for them in the first place. But anyway, I'm not gonna get on my soapbox. But out here, you know, from that one spring break show, created us. I'm like, because once they saw that on my social media, they're like, hey, come to Atlanta. Hey, come to Detroit.
Right.
Hey, Mississippi. Teachers in Alabama love you. Teachers in Nashville. You don't want to mess with. I'm like, boom. So we started finding venues. Boom. And it just turned into a big old tour. And we called it the Teachers Only Comedy Tour. Right?
Yes,
Something for us. And the thing was, I noticed that we was all I know is little comedy clubs. That's just my mind frame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing that we having to do 3 or 4 shows in these little comedy clubs. I'm like, damn it, we can't find no bigger venue and get everybody in here. You know, when that happened, God just started blessing us, man. I'm talking about theaters, 2,000. The first time I saw 2,000 people, the first time I saw 800-900 people to see me, I'm like, almost shook me.
Right.
That led to 1,000 each city, nothing less than 2,000-3,000. Did 6 in Atlanta. Houston was the biggest, my hometown, man. I was blessed to be able to sell out the Smart Financial Center, man, and that holds 7,000, all in one night. 7,000, man, and I never forget walking down that aisle, man, through the back. I walked through, the back of the house because I saw Richard Pryor do it live on the Sunset Strip, and I just fell in love with what he did because you allowed people to touch you. You could feel, you know what I'm saying? It's scary too, though. Because when you're coming down there in 7,000, I was almost shook. Well, I mean, I held on to my composure, but I wanted to get, out of breath, anxiety. But it was cool. It became to be the norm. And of course, it was a movement. Teachers followed it because it was their outlet. Afterwards, the highlight of my shows, man, is afterwards. When it's that long line, it's long lines outside.
Right.
The lines are even longer for the pictures and the meet and greet. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Venues had to just say, hey, man, your cutoff is an hour. Okay. Or you're going to have to pay extra. I mean, I'm so nice. I'll take a picture and hug everybody. And the thing is, it means so much to them. They're not just shaking my hand and trying to take a picture with me. And ain't no women trying to flirt, Well, a couple of them, how that go. But I'm talking about the majority of them. Yeah. Crying, let me know how much these videos, how much I mean to them. Nobody understands. Man, I get inboxes and DMs. One lady was going to commit suicide. She was so stressed out. She's going to commit suicide. She was in the bathroom with the pills. Somebody who wasn't even a teacher sent her one of my videos.
Wow.
Who wasn't even a teacher. She had sent me the picture to my inbox of the pills all laid out on the counter. And she was sitting on the toilet, bro. I'm like, this is bigger than just comedy. It's a movement. But of course, when networks and agencies get a hold to it, they don't really care about teachers like that. They see those numbers. Yeah. Opportunity. He can make us some money. Well, okay. You using me. Okay, let me use you then. Okay, let me get these venues and let me get my teachers in these nice venues, and I'm able to give back to them. And so that's how they came about. And from the tour, came back around with another tour, the I'm Already Professionally Developed tour.
Right.
We have to go to professional developments and we hate it. Right. And so I thought I'm already professionally developed, And so from that, of course, the agency got a hold to me. They was doing the venues. I let them get with me for like a year. They booked up venues for a year all across the US. And boom, here come the networks, about the potential show. Right. That's how it happened. That's why I'm here.
Okay, so let me ask you, what's the show about? Is it basically a model of your career and the entire thing that you just explained out, or is it more of something that they created just because they think that's what's on TV? People on TV gonna like it. What's the show about? Because it sounds like a great show. Tell everybody who's starring in it and what's the show about.
Well, you looking at him, baby.
Yes, we know you're the star.
Hey, the thing is, it's gonna make history because it's the first TV show about teaching, starring a real teacher. There's no SNL character. I'm not an SNL character at all. It's nothing that can be made up. It's so beautiful that Hollywood specializes in recreating realities. That's how they make shows and movies or whatnot. Teaching is a reality that cannot be recreated genuinely.
Right.
If you're not a teacher.
Right.
there's some stuff embedded in it that what comes out on the videos and my shows, it's pain behind that. And you have to go through that first, which nobody is willing to do for that low amount of money that we get paid, you know? So at in the big old round table, you got the big wigs asking me, so Eddie, what do you think about this script? What do you think about this? They deferring to me on everything because they see that the teachers come out and support me. They're like, okay, so whatever he got going, whatever he's saying, we need to let him be him in order for this to pop. And the teachers are so proud of it, man. We still waiting on it, you know, got a holding deal with ABC. You know, that's why I'm down here. And they you know, pitching shows. We're trying to shoot the pilot right now. But it's without giving away too much, it's a TV show about my story. A dude who plays sports, didn't want to teach, end up teaching, not liking teaching. And so it takes you on that whole journey of me, you know, not wanting to teach. But it's sort of like, you ever watch MASH?
Of course.
Back in the day, remember the dude who used to always try to scheme to get out?
Yeah, of course.
It's something kind of like that. But what gets me is what gets all teachers, what gets us all stuck, the kids.
Right. So who else is starring in the show with you? Because you know,
to shoot the pilot, they still haven't cast it for it yet. Okay. I'm the only one got a script, and I know the whole doggone script right now.
Yeah, I bet you do.
And Lawrence Fishburne, him and his company, Cinema Gypsies, they're producing it. Along with a couple other people, and so they helped get the deal done with ABC, and we just waiting to get locked in. Man, I'm ready to go. I'm out here trying to eat like these people in California. You know, I'm from Houston, man. Yeah. I'm used to food. I'm out here eating pita chips and hummus, man, and I'm about to go crazy, bro. Lettuce and tomatoes. I'm cool with it, but you know, it's different. But I can't wait for it to come out because it's gonna be a good show. And I got acting chops though. I've been acting my whole public school life.
Yes,
I was the one who's always be the lead in plays. I got a UIL Best Actor competition plaque in my house now from '99, Best Actor UIL competition. But you'll never know that.
Wow. Okay, well, tell everybody out there, because we got to get ready to wrap this up. My time is running. Tell everybody out there how we can follow you and how we can stay in contact with you, because, you know, I know you got fans who already know this, but tell everybody out there who's now you're about to be your new fans. So
I got to pull up my thing, you know. On all social media outlets, I'm at Eddie B Comedy. That's EDDIE, the letter B as in boy, and the word comedy. Except for on Twitter, because some dude got Eddie B Comedy already, and he ain't no comedian.
Yeah.
So on Twitter, it's comedian Eddie B on Twitter, but my website, eddiebcomedy.com, and you can hit me directly on my community number too. Can I give them my phone number?
Yeah, yes, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, the community number is 832-957-2788, and that's the community number where you set up where they can contact me and text me directly, and we use that, to just stay locked in with the supporters and let people know what we're doing, and I have stuff come up, giveaways and stuff like that. I go live, and if they get on there, that'd be their first opportunity to really to get at me. But the website too, eddiebcomedy.com, is just, man, it's about 500,000 followers on there, about 500,000 on Facebook, pushing like 180 on Instagram. I don't care about numbers though, man. I really care about the responses, the comments that I get under each video, and all of them share the same sentiments, man, that they really appreciate it. They don't know how their teaching life would be without these videos. I don't know what I mean to them. I'm a fly on their wall. They just love it. Without me, they probably would have quit or did something stupid a long time ago. And that's the part that validates what I do, man. I appreciate that.
Right. Well, thank you for taking up the time, Eddie. We appreciate you. Continued success. We hope we can see obviously COVID slow some stuff down. We hope we can see you come sometime later on this year. But again, thank you for that. We really appreciate you. And if y'all heard him, that's comedian Eddie B. I'm Frank Holder. You're watching Humor Mill TV. Thanks a lot, Eddie. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, Frank.